Today we have Logitech G502, we have a normal one, and we have the Hero. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean these, because these were both second hand and they're pretty filthy. So what we're going to need is some prying tools and some screwdrivers, some wax paper if you want to reuse the pads. If you don't, then you can skip this. And we have an ultrasonic cleaner where we're going to dunk one, and the other one we are going to clean with a toothbrush. So let's get to it. We will start with the 502 Hero, and the procedure for both of these is exactly the same. You need to remove all of the pads so that you can get access to the screws. But before you do that, if you want to save the pads, then you need the wax paper. And then we can put all of the pads on the wax paper. I'm wearing gloves so that I don't have to put any of my finger grease on the things, nor get any of the filth on my hands. So first we're going to do this the wrong way, which I originally thought was the right way. As you can see, there's something left behind from the Teflon pads, and we can't see the screw holes. This is because the glue surface is so strong that it actually separated from the Teflon pads and is still on the mouse. If you've done this, then you can't really get the pads to work anymore. Skip to the end if you just want to see how the thing is actually done, because the second one will be done a lot quicker. However, if you just want to see me fumble, then follow along. If you have messed up like I have, then you need to feel around to find where the screw holes are. I'm just using some needle nose tweezers to get the hole punctured for the screw and then pull out all of the stuff. Now that we can access the screws, there's just 4 of them that we need to unscrew using a Phillips head screwdriver. To open up the mouse, we need to undo the latches inside, and you can do that by wedging in a spudger from the back side of the mouse and then forcing it open, as you can see here. Now that we have the upper half removed, we can pretty much just chuck this as is to be cleaned. You could probably could take off all of the screws and then put all of the things back together, but we're not going to bother. We're just going to put this as is. We then have a bag that has soap and water, and we're going to put the mouse chassis in there. Take as much air out as possible, and then close the bag. And then we're going to fill the rest with water. And then we're just going to turn it on and come back in 15 minutes. Now that the 15 minutes are done, we're going to remove this thing and see what the results are. Here is the washed part, and most of the stuff came out really nicely, except for these. There's still stuff there. And the same for the other side. There's a little bit of stuff there. Not going to put it in the bath again. I'm just going to use a toothbrush to wash this part. Here we only have a little bit of soap and water. And now it seems clean. Now we need to wash it with clean water and then just put it dry and see did we get everything this time. Now that the top has been handled, we have the bottom piece, and it seems that we have a screw here, and a screw here, a screw here, and do we have a fourth screw? Doesn't seem that we have the fourth screw. So these need to be come out, and for these to come out we need to remove this wheel, and this wheel also needs to be cleaned because it's disgusting. So first we can take out this screw. And then we need to take out this holding pin. I think it goes this way. With that, this should be able to come out. There we go. And then we can remove these two screws. And then we get this thing out. Then we have 2 additional screws for the cable and 2 additional screws for the sensor. So we'll go ahead and take those out. Wait, those aren't screws. It just comes out. And there's this tiny spring. Don't lose that. There we go. And now this can go into the washing machine. I will wash this in normal water first. I'll rinse it and then I'll just dump it into the ultrasonic washer for 15 minutes. Next, we're putting the scroll wheel into the bath, in the ultrasonic cleaner. Next, we have the mouse cable, which you can just pull off with the use of a spudger. And we're going to wash this too, which is fine because there's no components on the cable. And we'll just use water and some soap and then rinse it and then let it dry completely. And you can then just use it again. This would also be the spot where you would change the cable. Now that we have the rest of the parts cleaned, we can then reassemble the mouse. Okay, so now that the mouse has been mostly reassembled, there's a couple of takeaways. I have no idea where this tiny little spring goes to. So I'm putting it here, and I'm going to find that out when I disassemble the other one. There are 4 screws here, 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 and here that you need to take out. When we look at how the skates look after being a while on the wax paper, we can see that you pretty much are going to need new ones after you're done with this. These can probably still be attached to these, but they're not going to last. So order new ones before you open this. For most of the cleaning stuff, you only need to take out the topmost half, because that contains most of the stuff. And unless the scroll wheel is really bad, then most of the stuff doesn't need to be disassembled, and even the scroll wheel can be removed without removing the PCB from the mouse itself. So what I'm going to do with the next one is that I'm going to only take out the top half, and I'm going to remove the scroll wheel, but I'm not going to disassemble the rest of it. Now let's try to reattach the skates. We'll start by the big one. So yeah, you're probably going to need to replace these. I've ordered new ones, but they're not here yet, so these will have to do for now. Let's get to the next one.
And there we go. The second time it was a lot easier. Now that I knew exactly what I needed to take out, with the exception of this, because I tried to take this out when I don't need to. This time these might be reusable, but unless you see the screw holes the first time you take them out, you're going to need to replace them. Now we're just going to wash this in some soapy water. If you brush underwater, it's not going to spray around. Yep, this seems pretty done. I'm going to rinse this and then I'm going to dry this and we'll see how it compares to the other one. I'm probably also going to, after that, throw this into the ultrasonic cleaner just because I have it. But this is mostly to show that you don't actually need that to get pretty good results. The shell has now been dried and there's only some stuff here that I missed, but the sides are all good on both sides. There's some amount of little bit of stuff in between these moldings, so this thing is going to go into the ultrasonic cleaner. But as you can see, you can do pretty well with just a toothbrush and some cleaning agent. And the other thing that I found that I missed with the other one, and I'm going to take apart the mouse and fix it, is the two little springs. The springs are here, located here and here. And now, since this is clean enough, we're just going to put it back together. Check that all the buttons work. I have a feeling that the only way that these things are going to come nicely out of the medium that you're using is plastic. The wax paper is not enough. there we go. It has been cleaned and reassembled. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.